Hey Exploration Nation, today we're at the Mount Berry Square Mall, now known as the Mount Berry Mall in Rome, Georgia, and sadly this is an example of one of the many dying malls across the country. Although this one is doing better than many I've seen, still there's a lot of empty retail space here, and like the other malls across the country, they built walls in order to make it look more occupied than it is. Penney is still here. Down here on the end beyond Dunham Sports is where Sears used to be, and they packed up and left them some time ago. So let's go in and take a look. Now, right inside the door, there used to be a restaurant here. As a matter of fact, back in the mall's heyday, there were several restaurants that came and went here, and none ever made it here. And as you can see, here's one of the walls they built in order to make it look like it's not just empty space. But if you go over here, you can see inside what used to be the restaurant. And right here in this area under the skylight, there used to be a carousel for kids, and when the mall ownership changed, they took that out, which was sad. It's a real classic looking carousel. And right over here is a wall that's been built to close off vacant retail space. It's another wall that's been built in order to make the mall look more occupied than it is. Now right ahead there used to be a real pretty fountain there. It's a shame they took it out. And not a great job in building that floor. Cheap was the key, and probably indicative of the financial state of the mall, sadly enough. Now you can see there's more empty retail space here that's been covered up by walls. And here's a look at JCPenney. I'm kind of having to keep an eye out for security because for some strange reason they're kind of nuts about people photographing in here. Even people photographing their children on rides around Christmas time, they'll say something to them about it, and they'll allow it, but they come up and say something to them about it, about taking pictures in here. And it's always been that way. I don't understand why, but it is. You can see all these walls built, and that's retail space. So is that. Now you can see the lack of crowds here. Now I realize this is up during the day, but back in the mall's heyday, there have been a whole lot more people here than that. And as you can see, it's virtually empty. You see off down in the distance, Belk's still here. And these big stores still here are probably about the only things holding it together. More retail space. You can see how much retail space is there on those walls. And you can see here too. It's all vacant retail space. Now this line on the floor is actually a walking track. And I've forgotten how far it is if you know the distance, but if you walked along it, I think it was something like 1.25 miles around the whole mall, and people used to come in here and walk on it in order to do a measured distance every day, and this is one of the telltale signs of the construction to conceal empty retail space that they can't rent out, because you're supposed to be able to walk along that around the whole perimeter of the mall inside. And as you can see, no people. And we take a brief look out on the parking lot. Very few cars. And there had been a whole lot of cars back in the mall's heyday that even up during the day. And except for the big anchor stores that are left, like Belk's and Penney, my guess is that's about the only thing holding this mall afloat. If they were ever to leave, I think the rest would have to follow suit. And I really don't see how a lot of these smaller stores are even making it in here, because the lease rates on these places are horrendous. Right down here to the food court. That's the way I came in, and the food court looks like it's in fairly good shape. It's fairly well occupied. And up during the day, you would come in and see people walking along this walking track here, and as you can see, there is nobody. And this will give you some idea how few people are actually here. Okay, and here's the food court. And as you can see, it's fairly well occupied. Not bad. Although right down there on the right where you see all those walls built, that's all where some restaurants used to be. But food court's not in too bad a shape. Not going to go on down there doing this. The city police substation and mall security is down that way. And like I said, they're real funny about anybody taking pictures of anything in here, which I find to be weird. And this is more vacant space. As you can see, the walking track disappears right here onto the other side, here and here. All that empty space. So the mall is probably only about 2/3 occupied at best, maybe about half. Okay, we're behind the mall down here, headed towards the end where Sears used to be. Of course, nobody home here. Swing around so you can see how few cars are back here. And even during the day, that's only maybe about half of what used to be here. That's the back entrance to Sears right there. Let's see. You might be able to make out a little bit of scarring. They used to have a sign right there. You can see the holes there. And there's a sign here as well. This is their automotive section, automotive repair, and you can see sign scarring right there. old Sears main entrance. As you can see, unfortunately, you can't see. It looks like maybe black plastic or something on the windows, so you can't see in. You can see all this space here just blocked off. And I'm going to get out and take a look at those windows just to make sure that we can't see anything in there. Well, actually you can see in there, so there we go. And the glare kind of gets this. See if we can get this down here. Can't get too much because of the glare, so that's some of it. And walk down here and see if we can check out the sign scarring. It's not real visible, it doesn't look like. You can see it a little bit, but not enough to make out what it was anymore. But that's where it was. Here you can see the Sears sign scarring on the left end of the building down there, clearer from a distance than you can right up under it. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. There we go. You can see it a whole lot clearer than you can right up there at it. Here's the sign scarring from the Sears Automotive. You can see it better from a distance, just like all the rest of it actually. Right up under it, it's not real clear, but here you can see it. And we'll go take a look inside these windows and see what we can see. It's hard to see. There we go. Not bad at all. And the early bird drop-off service. See if we can. Yeah, the camera's not wanting to focus on that. Let's try another one. Not really having much luck. I guess there's not enough light in there for it to focus. There we go. That's better. That's better. That works. And the one with the secure glass. Let's see what we got in here. Kind of tough going here on the focusing. Yeah, it's not one to do. Okay. Well, we got a couple of good shots anyhow. Here's a better shot of the parking lot. I'll show you how few people are out here. And it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And back when this mall was mostly occupied, this parking lot would have been much more full than it is now. But as you can see, even though Belk's and Penney and Dunham Sports, larger stores are still here, there's just not that much patronage. really sad to see. I don't think this mall's got too many more years.